Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another edition of Foodie Fridays. So for this Foodie Fridays, we're going to be making another crock pot recipe. I'm all about the crock pot recipes right now because of me working. I have no time for cooking. That's the last thing on my list right now. So this crock pot is definitely a lifesaver for me. So this week we are going to be making my famous barbecued pulled pork, but it is a root beer style pulled pork. So every time I make this for a get together, and I make it quite often because it feeds a crowd, everybody asks me for the recipe and can't believe how easy it is because it is so flavorful and so tender, and they can't believe that it's just barely any ingredients at all. So for this crock pot root beer pulled pork recipe, you're going to need obviously some root beer. So I've got some A&W back there, but any root beer works, even off-brand works, and just exactly the same. I've tried it before. You actually need a couple of garlic cloves, but I don't have any on hand, so I'm just going to use some garlic powder, some salt and pepper. You need one chopped onion, and that was a big Mama Jamma onion, so you don't have to have it as big as the one I had, but you do need an onion. And you need 1.5 cups of barbecue sauce, which you don't see any because I actually need to go to the store and get some after work, all right? I'm telling you, work has got me a hot mess. So for the first thing you're going to do is, and you obviously need your pork roast. So there is the pork roast right there. It says 4 to 5 pounds. This is a big pork roast, and I use the same ingredients for a 4 to 5 pound, and it works just the same. So you need your pork roast in your crock pot. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put 12 ounces of root beer on top of your pork roast. Add your onions, your salt and pepper, and your garlic powder, and that's all you need inside the crock pot. We're going to cook it on low for 8 hours, and then we will shred it, which I'm going to use my friend Vanessa, Lemonade Mom. She had a great tip with chicken salad to use a mixer, a handheld mixer to shred your meat. So I'm going to try that out for the first time today and see if that tip works, because if it does, that's going to be another lifesaver for me. So I'm going to try that, and then you will add your barbecue sauce. So I'm going to go step by step with you guys. So we're going to add all this stuff into the crock pot first, and then when I get home, it should be ready to roll, to shred, and add that barbecue sauce and eat. Yummy. So let's get started with the first thing we're going to do. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is add our chopped onions. We're going to add that all on top of our pork roast. You can see that I have some big chunks. That's because in the slow cooker, guys, I never finely dice anything because it will always cook down and you barely notice it's there even when it looks really chunky. So do not worry about finely dicing anything for your crock pot for that matter. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some garlic powder. Remember I said to add some actually diced garlic cloves, and then that's probably what is best, but again, I don't have any on hand, so I'm just going to sprinkle this pretty generously with some garlic powder, and it'll probably give us the same flavor. Remember that I said it cooks down anyway, so that's okay. Then I'm going to add my salt and pepper. I went ahead and already pre-did it for us, so I didn't have to crank it out of the actual grinder. So you can eyeball this, guys. It doesn't have to be as much, or you can add more if you want. That is your preference. And then the last thing we're going to add is our 12 ounces of root beer, and we are done. I love these easy dump crock pot recipes. They are life to me when working. So I'm going to add this root beer all on top of the the roast. Y'all can tell it's early in the morning, right? Hopefully I don't act like this when I start teaching. Okay, so I'm going to just generously put it all over the pork roast. And I actually put a little bit more than 12 ounces because I have a bigger roast. You're going to drain this root beer off anyway, so it really doesn't matter how much you put on there as far as the liquid, because we're going to drain it when we get home after we shred it. All right, so again, that is it. I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to put this bad boy on low for 8 hours. And when we get home, we're going to try that new mixer tip that Vanessa gave us about shredding the pork, and hopefully that works and saves us some time. And I'm going to pick up some barbecue sauce on the way home from work, and we're going to be ready to chow down on this root beer pulled pork. We haven't made it in a while. We usually just make it for gatherings now, so I'm excited to be able to eat some tonight. And we usually serve this with like either potato salad, which I usually make my potato salad from scratch, and y'all are waiting for that recipe. I will be bringing it soon, but I'm not going to be making potato salad tonight, but chips or french fries is usually what we serve ours with. So looking forward to it. So let me get on to work and have a busy day, and I'll get back with y'all and we will shred up this pork. All right, y'all, it has been 8 hours, and this is what your pulled pork will look like. It does give off a lot of fat, so that's why you want to drain it before you add your barbecue sauce. I'm actually going to drain mine a little bit before than what I usually do, since I am going to be using that little tip of using the handheld mixer to try to shred this pork. So I'm going to drain off some of the liquid first, then I'm going to shred it. Best tip ever, Vanessa. Thank you. Guys, you've got to try the hand mixer. It works wonders. Also, I've shredded the pulled pork. I've drained off the excess liquid. You do want it to sit in the liquid for just a little bit to marry those root beer sweet flavors, but then you'll drain it. And then I do have my barbecue sauce. I'm going to add a whole 17.5 ounce container. You could add more, just eyeball it on how wet or dry you want this pulled pork to be. So I'm going to add it to the crock pot, and then you want to continue to cook it on, I'm going to cook mine on high for 30 minutes. That's what I like to do. So you want to be able to blend down that barbecue sauce into the pork with the other flavors. So whole bottle of barbecue sauce, 30 minutes on high. We'll come back and see what it looks like. All right, y'all, so 30 minutes on high, and this is what it looks like. It smells so delicious. I cannot wait to get into these. So I'm gonna plate these bad boys up for y'all so you can see how we plate ours, and we're gonna dig right in. I also wanna mention that this is a great recipe that does well in the freezer. So you can freeze this, thaw it out, and have it for another night. It is great for that. We've done that many times since it makes so much when we're just eating it on our own. So a great freezer meal for later dinners or lunches as well. So let me get this plated up and we'll get ready for dinner. All right, y'all, so this is the plated product. This is the root beer pulled pork. I like to serve mine. I like to eat mine anyway, and so does the hubby, with mayonnaise. I'm using olive oil mayonnaise. He likes full fat, and pickles. And sometimes we'll do shredded lettuce, but that's it. Simple and easy, and it is just oh so delicious, guys. This is really great, and like I said, a great freezer recipe. It makes a ton, so if you're looking for a recipe that will feed a huge crowd, this is definitely one to make. And I want to thank Vanessa for that awesome tip on using the handheld mixer. That was a great tip, guys. Usually I spend forever shredding that stuff, and it doesn't come out this fine, as you can see here, with just by hand with fork. So I will be using that for anything I need to shred from now on. So thank you, Vanessa. And Mark, I think that was Mark's original idea for that tip. So that was my Foodie Fridays for this week, guys. Give it a thumbs up if you are loving these Foodie Fridays, and hit that subscribe button if you're not with me, because I do have Foodie Fridays every single Friday here on the channel, and look forward to bringing lots of other recipes to y'all, probably more crock pot recipes as I'm teaching and doing more of those. But I have a lot of things that I said last time I'm saving for seasonal recipes up my sleeve for y'all. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy your weekend. And until next time, bye.